3 months ago, America and Iran went to war. Bombs fell on Tehran, nuclear facilities were destroyed, the supreme leader was killed, and the world changed overnight. Today, that war may be over. In the last 24 hours, President Trump announced that a deal with Iran is largely negotiated. The Strait of Hormuz will reopen. The war will officially end. But nothing is signed yet, and the hardest questions remain unanswered. This is what we know, what we don't know, and what comes next. But first, let's remember how we got here, because this deal didn't come out of nowhere. It came out of 3 months of the most consequential war in the Middle East since Iraq. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury, the largest American military operation since the invasion of Iraq in 2003. Missiles, bombers, special forces, strikes on Iranian military bases, strikes on nuclear facilities, strikes on government buildings and intelligence headquarters. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed, the man who had ruled Iran since 1989, gone. Iran struck back immediately. Missiles toward Tel Aviv, missiles toward American bases across the region, drone swarms over the Persian Gulf. And then, Iran played its ultimate card. It closed the Strait of Hormuz, the 30-mile waterway that carries 20% of the world's oil, shut down overnight. Oil prices shot above $90 a barrel, then above $100. Gas prices hit records across Europe and Asia. 20,000 sailors were stranded on 2,000 ships in the Persian Gulf. The International Maritime Organization called it the worst shipping crisis since World War II. America responded with a naval blockade of all Iranian ports. For the first time in modern history, 2 blockades facing each other, Iran blocking the strait, America blocking Iran. Then came the ceasefire. On April 8th, a fragile 2-week ceasefire was agreed. The Strait of Hormuz partially reopened. Then negotiations began. In Islamabad, in Muscat, in Rome, round after round of talks, each one described as close to a breakthrough, each one ending without a final deal. The gap between the two sides seemed impossible to bridge. America wanted Iran to permanently stop enriching uranium. America wanted Iran to hand over its stockpile of enriched uranium. America wanted the strait open, with no tolls, no Iranian control. Iran wanted sanctions lifted. Iran wanted its frozen assets released. Iran wanted to keep the right to enrich uranium eventually.
For weeks, deadlock. Then came May 22, 2026. Trump got on the phone with the leaders of Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, and Bahrain. Then separately with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. After those calls, Trump posted on Truth Social. An agreement had been largely negotiated. The Strait of Hormuz would reopen. Final details would be announced shortly. The world held its breath. So what exactly is in this deal? Here is what Axios exclusively reported, confirmed by multiple U.S. officials and regional sources. The deal has 2 phases. Phase 1, immediate. A 60-day ceasefire extension. During those 60 days, the Strait of Hormuz reopens with no tolls. Iran agrees to clear the mines it planted in the strait. Every mine, all of them. Ships pass freely. The U.S. lifts its blockade of Iranian ports. Sanctions waivers allow Iran to sell oil again on the international market. For every day Iran clears mines and lets ships through, America lifts more sanctions. Trump called it relief for performance. Phase 2, after 60 days, negotiations on Iran's nuclear program begin. The harder questions get addressed: the enriched uranium stockpile, the future of Iran's centrifuges, the IAEA inspectors, the long-term architecture of whatever comes next. That is the structure of the deal as reported. But here is what makes it complicated. Iran's foreign minister Baghai told state media something very different. He said nuclear issues are not part of the current deal. Iran wants the economic relief first, sanctions lifted, ports unblocked, oil sold, and only then, maybe, it will talk about nuclear weapons. America's position is also clear. Secretary of State Rubio said Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. It must turn over its enriched uranium, and the strait cannot remain under Iranian control permanently. So the 2 sides agree on ending the immediate crisis. They do not agree on what happens after. And there is another complication. Republican senators in Washington are already criticizing the deal. Senator Lindsey Graham said it doesn't address the nuclear program. Others warn that lifting sanctions gives Iran economic relief without getting anything on the bomb. They have a point, because there is a historical pattern here that nobody wants to talk about. In 2015, the JCPOA, Iran accepted limits on its nuclear program. America lifted sanctions. Billions of dollars flowed back to Iran.
Iran used that economic breathing room to expand its proxy network. Hezbollah got stronger, Hamas got stronger, the Houthis got stronger. In 2018, Trump pulled out of the deal. Iran restarted enrichment. Centrifuges spun faster. Enrichment levels rose toward weapons grade. In 2020, Trump assassinated Qasem Soleimani. Iran fired missiles at American bases. Both sides stepped back. In 2025, the 12-day war. American bombs on Fordo. Ceasefire announced. Nothing resolved. In 2026, Operation Epic Fury. Khamenei killed. War declared. And now, a deal. The same pattern, over and over. Crisis, deal, breathing room, Iran advances, collapse, bigger crisis. Will this time be different? Maybe. But history suggests caution. And then there is the question nobody is answering. The 440 kilograms of highly enriched uranium. Before the American strikes on Natanz and Isfahan and Fordo, Iran had this stockpile. Enough material for multiple nuclear bombs if enriched further. Iran state television claimed the material was moved before the strikes. If true, it is somewhere in Iran right now. Hidden, unmonitored, unaccounted for. The IAEA was expelled from Iran on February 28, 2026. Cameras disabled, seals removed. Nobody knows where that uranium is. Trump has repeatedly said Iran must relinquish this material. Today, that demand is absent from his announcement, which raises a question. Did Trump quietly drop this demand to get a deal? Or is he saving it for the 60-day nuclear talks? Nobody knows. And Israel is watching very carefully. Netanyahu spoke with Trump today. The call was described as going very well. But Israeli officials have been explicit about their red line. Iran cannot keep its enriched uranium. Full stop. If this deal allows Iran to retain that material, Israel may act unilaterally, and a war that is ending could restart, from a different direction. The reactions from around the world tell their own story. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, they want the steel. They have been suffering economically from the Hormuz closure. Their oil revenues depend on open shipping lanes. They pushed hard for this agreement. Europe wants the steel. Energy prices have been crushing European economies since February. Germany, France, Italy, all desperate for the strait to reopen. China wants the steel. China gets 60% of its oil from the Persian Gulf.
The Hormuz closure has been devastating for the Chinese economy. Beijing has been quietly urging both sides to reach an agreement. Russia, complicated. High oil prices have been good for Russia. Every day the strait stays closed, Russian oil becomes more valuable. Moscow has no economic incentive to push for a deal, but it also doesn't want an American military presence permanently entrenched near its interests. And then there is the Iranian people. 3 months of war on top of year assumptions. Inflation, unemployment, power cuts, medicine shortages, an entire generation that has known nothing but economic hardship. For them, any deal that stops the bombing is better than nothing. So what happens next? 3 scenarios. Scenario 1, the deal holds. The memorandum is signed this weekend or early next week. Iran begins clearing mines from the strait. America lifts the port blockade. Ships move again. Oil prices fall. The global economy breathes. The 60-day nuclear talks begin. Both sides compromise on the uranium question. A framework for lasting peace is established. This is the optimistic scenario. It is possible, but it requires both sides to make concessions they have so far refused to make. Scenario 2, the deal collapses. Last-minute disputes blow up the negotiations. Iran refuses to hand over enriched uranium. America refuses to lift all sanctions. Israel launches strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. The war resumes, more intense than before. Oil spikes above $120 a barrel. The global recession deepens. This scenario is also possible. Every previous deal between these two countries has eventually collapsed. Scenario 3. The deal holds short-term but fails long-term. The memorandum is signed, the strait reopens, the 60-day nuclear talks begin, and then, like every previous negotiation between Iran and America, they stall. Neither side gets what it really wants. A fragile non-war that is not quite peace replaces a fragile ceasefire. The underlying conflict festers until the next crisis. This is the most likely scenario, because the root causes of this conflict have not changed. America still doesn't trust Iran. Iran still resents America. Israel still fears an Iranian bomb. Iran still wants to enrich uranium. A memorandum of understanding, however well-intentioned, cannot resolve 70 years of history.
What started with a CIA coup in 1953?
What exploded with a revolution in 1979? What has smoldered for 45 years through sanctions, proxy wars, assassinations, and now bombs? Cannot be solved in 60 days of negotiations, but it can be paused. And sometimes a pause is enough. Enough for ordinary people to rebuild their lives, enough for diplomats to find something more lasting, enough for the world to remember what peace feels like. Whether this deal holds, whether it collapses, whether it leads to real peace or another round of war, we don't know yet. Nobody does. But we'll be here, watching, analyzing, and telling you what it all means. If this series has helped you understand one of the most complex conflicts in the world, subscribe, because this story is not over, not even close. See you next time.